We're just dancing to the theme music there as it runs through and comes to an end.
This is Keith Fields.
And this is Lady Sarah.
And thank you for joining us for a cup of tea.
And what tea do you have today, my love?
Actually, I'm drinking PG Tips.
PG Tips, a British standard.
Yes, I have my spotted milk already in there and just adding the tea. Gorgeous,
yes.
gorgeous.
And our tip of the week about tea is about a British tradition referred to as builder's tea. And PG Tips is a favourite for that. And builder's tea is basically tea made very, very strong and very, very sweet.
And as soon as the builders arrive to your house to do some work, you make them a cup of tea. I don't know why, but we always make our builders a cup of tea. It's a very good thing. Hence
builder's tea. So that's the tea thing out of the way.
And tea is also for Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that's when we go live here with our big Ben in the background.
At 2 p.m.
At 2 p.m. for lots of chats with some great local folk.
I'll tell you one thing about this lock-in, though.
What?
One thing I'm missing more than anything else is my local hairdresser. I'm getting to the point of, look at this, I shouldn't do this. It's what's happening to it? It's almost like I've got hair again.
Darling, I could cut that.
Yeah, I think we can move on from that very swiftly.
Really?
You have some good ideas, my love, but that's not necessarily one of them. That's all I'm saying.
I can't believe. Oh, we have another good idea.
We do?
And it's happening on WXYZ on Saturday morning at 9:45. We're going to do mask etiquette.
Yeah, so if you are doing nothing else at that time in the morning, tune into WXYZ and you'll see us there.
And if you are local, it would be lovely to see you. And we do have some locals here. We have the lovely Fred Lenter.
Oh, hi, Fred. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in.
Gorgeous to see you. And also Mr. Arthur Otney, a very dear friend of ours. And
this is a blast from the past. We're being viewed in different countries.
This is a friend of ours back from St. John's in Blackheath when Keith had a different name.
Yes.
We'll leave that one with you.
Happy days. But welcome to all our viewers, including Sarah's mum, who is, of course, our most regular viewer from Wales.
Perfect. Let me tell you about the First Lady you're going to see today. She is an old friend of mine. Again, we've talked many times about the Troy Chamber of Commerce, and we have worked together on various projects with the Troy Chamber. Here she is, just looking cute as a button. Look at that tiny little bow. That's so gorgeous.
Why do parents do that to children? Put bows in their hairs.
Tiny ones, tiny ones.
She's got less hair than me.
And here, grown up.
Oh.
I think it might have been social distancing. Look how much hair there is there.
Yes.
Wow. Honestly, truly amazing. Keith, what do you have to tell us about?
We got to welcome this lady, and I've worked out how the best way to get her onto the screen is to do the thing.
The thing
they do on the television.
Oh, the jingle.
The jingle, because she works for a very well-known company, and I think this is how you get them. You go, like a good neighbour, State Farm is there.
Hey,
it worked.
How are you?
No, I can't have been the first person to have done that before they opened the door and you were standing there.
You probably are not the first person, but it's not as frequent as it was back in the Barry Manilow days when he was singing the jingle.
Oh,
Barry Manilow.
Yeah,
he had the big hair too.
Yeah.
He did. Yes, that was the Farrah Fawcett haircut that I had when I was in high school.
Well, so was that high school prom? We were guessing.
It was prom. Yep.
We won't ask when that was.
No, I don't really remember. So
something in the past, in the pre-virus days when things were so different, and
that's right.
Out.
A few years ago.
But now you're working from home. Are you?
Actually, I'm not working from home. I still come into my office because I'm the only one in my office, so it's safe to be here. My team is working from home, but at my house, I have a college sophomore who is trying to finish classes and taking finals this week.
Wow.
And I had a college senior who was doing an internship in accounting and working from home, and a puppy. So it wasn't a really great place to try to get stuff done. Yeah. So I come here and I'm thrilled.
Peace and quiet. So we spoke to quite a few people who have actually rediscovered the joy of peace and quiet in the office. They didn't manage to get so much more done, and it's a whole different feel of working, I think, isn't it? When you've got a busy office and interruptions and things.
And now you go home, and it's just as busy at home, just as busy.
So does that make you an essential worker then? Are you qualified as essential?
Yeah, we qualify as essential because of insurance and financial services. So State Farm qualifies under that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, we're not essential, are we, darling?
No. Well, we are to each other, obviously, but unfortunately, the rest of the world doesn't view magicians and entertainers that way. Although, actually,
good entertainment nowadays, though.
Yes,
yeah,
we need entertainment. But Anna, have you always been from Michigan?
I grew up in Battle Creek. Yep, always been from Michigan.
Where's that on this handy thing?
Like kind of over here by Kalamazoo, sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. You see,
So,
all those people
go to Lake Michigan for the day when we were in high school. That was like the big thing to do. So we were close to Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
All those people not from Michigan have no idea.
Yes, when you go like this, it's just it's our own little secret.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone.
Secret code. It's how you tell someone is a true Michigander.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
Mind you, people still come up to us and they go, "Oh, you know about this thing?" Yeah, we have lived here for 10 years.
We've got it. We've got it.
We're well up on it now.
So you're an essential worker, and you go to work, and you work for State Farm. Very exciting. But there's some things we just don't know.
Yeah, there's a thing I wanted to ask you about. There's some changes going on with this no-fault insurance thing.
Yes.
And to be quite honest, I've never totally got my head around what it meant and what the changes mean. And I wonder if you could help me.
Sure. Except I wouldn't worry too much about what it used to mean. I would just focus on what's the changes that are coming up. So
that's a good thing.
That's probably a good thing.
Like that.
Yes.
We love that.
So educate us, please.
All righty. So on July 2nd, that is when this no-fault reform is taking place.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to have two big decisions to make. You're going to be able to have choice now in terms of how much medical coverage that you have, because everyone had unlimited medical coverage and some people didn't necessarily need it. And it's what caused our rates to be so high. We're one of the highest insurance states in the nation.
So prices are going to drop for us, are they? Is this
sorry, can you say that
one
again?
of the advantages, are you saying, is our prices are going to drop?
Yes, prices are going to drop. Prices will definitely drop. And they tell you that if you keep your unlimited coverage, your price is going to drop 10%. But the percentages that you might hear, that's going to depend on your individual coverage. Everyone is going to save about $120 a year because have you heard of something called the MCCA? Yeah, it's the Michigan Catastrophic Claims Association. And that is what pays if someone is critically injured in a car accident, and it'll pay benefits for the rest of your life. So every driver contributes $220 a year to that. And that cost is going to drop by $120. So there's a savings right there. And if your health insurance provider will cover a car accident, then you have even greater savings. So the thing everybody needs to do is to find out from your Blue Cross or your HAP or whoever your health insurance is, will they participate? Will they pay primary in the event of a car accident? And then that gives you more choices as to what you can pick.
I think one of the hardest things for mere mortals like us to work out is making sure we only insure things once, because I think quite often we've actually find ourselves insuring the same thing with different companies, with different groups. Yeah. And obviously there can be a big saving if you do the research.
Anne, if I may, we've got a question for you from Arthur, who says, is Michigan the only no-fault state left?
No, there are a couple of others, but they don't have the unlimited coverage like we do now.
Okay, right.
So things are changing. Do you think it's as a professional, do you think we're changing for the better?
You know, I think it's good to give people choices. I really think choice is good. And not everybody needs unlimited coverage. So that part is good. But I don't know yet, because it's kind of like when a new car rolls off the line for the very first time and it's the new make and model. You know, there's going to be some bugs and quirks and things like that that need to be worked out. So I don't know how it's all going to go yet. And your choices range from keeping unlimited, to going to 500,000, 250,000.
Yeah.
If you're on Medicaid, you can go with 50,000. I would be reluctant to go too low the first year, just because I don't want to be the car that, has all the quirks worked out on. I want to make sure I still have what I need, and I need to find out exactly what my plan
That is good, helpful advice. So that's very important. So that's Ann Percy from State Farm. Thanks very much.
Thanks for that, Ann. That's really great, because we really have no idea about this sort of stuff, and it's always good to have someone you can ask questions to.
Anytime.
Thank you for that. Well, right now we're going to pop you into the green room while we bring on our next guest. But please come back, because Mike Thornton's going to do some magic, and I know that you'll be amazed.
I will be very amazed.
Tremendous it'll be. So let me introduce you to our next fellow. Look, Keith, what do you have to say about this guy?
Look at that picture there. This is him as a young man. It looks like this is going to be a high school prom picture as well.
Look at those things from his ears.
I know.
What's that about?
It's like he's obviously caught up in the earring trend. But what I want to know is how a respectable looking young man like that,
nice tie, looking good,
turns into a father would do something like this. I mean, what sort of an object lesson is that for this child? I mean, actually, I think it means he's a fun dad, which I know he is. So let's welcome the man himself, the wonderful Mr. John Kohl.
Yeah, well, sorry, hold on. No.
Press the wrong button. John, I've got to ask you a question. Well, I've got to tell you this. We were looking for pictures of you, and I decided to review your Facebook account, which is where I dug up those pictures from.
That's scary.
Yeah, I know, but your lovely wife, Jen, is a photographer, and you have 4 gorgeous children. Do you know how many pictures of your children I had to look through to get back to those pictures of you?
Hundreds of them.
Jen, if you're watching, they're great pictures, by the way.
Yeah, great pictures.
Great pictures.
But unnecessary amount.
So, John, we've known you. When did we first meet? I was trying to think.
Oh boy, it's been a while. I mean, from Kohl at Abbott's, and
that's right. I think it's about
dinner years ago. It's been many years.
Yeah. So John is also a magician. He's also one of the magicians who performs at the Magic Soiree for us. But the reason we wanted to talk to him today is nothing to do with magic. Actually, it's much more to do with what you do, and something really interesting that you've done, which we'll come on to in a minute. But you are with Atlas Let me try and get that right.
Shall I bring you up a little bit?
About Atlas Wholesale Food. Was this an ambition of yours to be in food wholesale? How did that come about?
No, but it's a family business. So I'm third generation. It was my grandfather that started it back in the 1940s. And I didn't know I was going to be into the business. It's just kind of came to be that way through the business needing help. And I was in Atlanta at the time, and my cousin called me and said, now or never if you want to ever be a part of the business. And it was a great decision. That was back in 2006. So I came back to Detroit. It was an opportunity for me to move back home, which was one of my long-term goals as well. So it kind of hit that, across that T as well. So got to move home, got to be a part of the business, and haven't looked back since.
What stage was the business in? Where was it at when you moved into the business, and when did you actually take over? Yeah,
so you look at what's going on right now, and we've had so many years of expansion and a good economy that when you think back about the last recession we had and the financial crisis that happened, that was right when I joined the business during that time period. And, we were a business that was, dramatically affected by the downturn in the economy and consumers' changes in how they were eating. We supply restaurants and casinos with the food that runs their restaurants and their operations. So back then it was much the same way it is now. We had to find ways to do things differently and search under rocks that we never searched under before and be more creative and try to find a way to add value.
So post the dreaded 2009 recession, you came out of that and you kind of went from strength to strength, really. I know a little bit about that, how the business has grown. You've been providing the wholesale food for the restaurant industry, for the casinos.
And restaurants in Detroit have just grown tenfold. I mean, the economy in Detroit has gone through the roof. It's been amazing to watch.
And we do have some amazing restaurants in this area. The quality of food has definitely gone up since we've been here, which is 10 years now. So we absolutely love it.
And you supply all of those, John?
We supply around 400 different independent restaurants, regional chains, and the casinos in Detroit, Metro Detroit area. About a 60-mile radius around Detroit is where we delivered.
And then the 16th
of March.
Did you have any clue of what the governor was going to say or how it would affect you?
We did. I mean, the weeks before were kind of leading up to it, and we had meetings where we said, what's the worst case scenario? What could happen? And at that point in time, you could model yourself after Italy and see what some other countries had gone through. And, that was the worst case scenario. We said, what if this could happen? So that Sunday, I believe the 15th, she announced the closure of the casinos. Then that Monday was the closure of restaurants. Mm-hmm. And for a company that makes its living delivering to restaurants and casinos, was a pretty brutal 1-2 punch on there.
Yeah, I mean, it must. Yeah, I mean, it's just the whole. I mean, obviously, a lot of our friends as well, being in the entertainment industry, were hit by exactly the same punch, and it was like your whole world
just fell apart.
Just fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is there's not an industry out there that hasn't been affected by this virus, and we all look at our own points of view and say, well, this is how it affects me, but everyone is affected with this, and it's really I've never seen anything like it before, where so many industries are so dramatically affected and will be for a considerable amount of time because of it.
Okay, quick on a very quick happier note, we've just heard that your wife and children are watching, so I think we need to say hello to them.
Hi guys.
Okay, that's it.
We just had to do that. Okay, now I know one of the things I've always loved about you, John, is that you are probably one of the most incredibly positive people I know. You've got bags of energy and incredibly creative, and you are someone that wasn't going to let a virus get you down. So there you are with a fantastic family business, which is doing really well. And all of a sudden, all the people you supply, all your customers have gone. You've got fridges and stock full of food. What happened next? What did you do? Where did you go? I mean, to tell us.
Well, it's, for me, there's no choice to give up. You can't look back and you have to try to find a way. And I always think there's a way to do things if you think through them a little bit more. I'm blessed and lucky to have a good team around us here at Atlas that when this happened, it wasn't a fight or flight. They didn't, tear back and come away with it saying, well, I'm not going to be fully engaged now. Our business is down. Everyone came to work every day, really at a startup company. I think it was March 17th or 18th. We had a meeting, and that was how we started it. We said, officially now we're a startup, and we have to operate it like that. Every day is like a year. And we have to reinvent ourselves, and we're going to throw a bunch of things against the wall. We're going to see what sticks. And, we came up with a model with that in a week that is working for us now and is sustaining the company from where it's at right now.
So in a nutshell, tell us how that works.
So the model we're working with now is consumers can go online, purchase food directly from our inventory. And we have some of the top movers in reasonable sizes for people to be able to consume at their houses. And they go online, they put it in their shopping cart, they check out, and they can choose to pick it up at any one of our 10 drop-off locations around Metro Detroit.
Okay.
So, for instance, today we had a truck in, today's Thursday, it was Fraser and Ypsilanti, and people came in their cars with their order, and they came up to our truck, and our drivers and sales reps who are wearing masks and gloves take their order and put it into the trunk of their car, and then they go off.
Wow.
And John, you're doing all sorts of things, aren't you? You're doing cleaning products, you're doing masks, fruit and veg boxes.
It's unbelievable. It's like the wild, wild west when it comes to getting some of these supplies. And I say that because I've never been in an environment like this before. I'm wiring funds every single day to China and to Mexico to get these products that we've never supplied before. So I just right before this call was on the dock, and we got our shipment of 100,000 of these masks in that are FDA compliant. That as people come back to work, some of it's speculation, thinking we're going to need it, but I know our restaurants are going to have to have the covering for all the employees.
But John, you've taken this even one stage further, haven't you? In the fact that you're trying to involve the non-profits and the charitable organizations.
So there's a USDA grant that was announced last Friday, and it's due tomorrow, that is built for food distributors to use their network and connections to try to find 501c3 nonprofits that can accept food boxes. So the RFP, the proposal is we would deliver food boxes to 501c3 organizations that have people in need to their organization to drop off points where they can distribute it to their network of people. And it's a really, it's a cool program, and it happened really fast. So they're going to make a decision by the 8th, and we're going to start delivering on May 15th to these organizations. So, the goal of this grant this bid is to try to get some of the excess capacity that exists in the food chain right now in the form of food service distributors and food service manufacturers, and get it to those that need it.
And it takes companies like yours that are sort of smaller and lean and able to make quick changes to actually service this market. So it really is fantastic to
John,
see what you're doing.
That's amazing. We put up your website. There's more details at the end as well. So, we want to support you. You're a local business, but the fact that you've turned this around is incredible.
Yeah, well done you, sir. Well done you.
Now, we have a bit of a treat for you, because we do know that you like a bit of magic. And we've got one of our favourites coming on. Obviously, you're one of our favourites too, favourite magicians.
And actually, John, just before we bring on this guy, if you'll be around to pop back maybe in a week or so and do some magic for us, because
Deal.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'd love to see that.
But let's show you a picture of our friend, our old friend. Look at this. How gorgeous does he look?
Is he coming? The big man himself? Is he coming on?
Yeah, you're looking at the cute little kid, darling.
Yeah.
That's what you meant to be looking at.
Actually, looking at that Santa, it's not so much ho 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 as ho hum by the look of it. I mean, he doesn't look happy, does he?
And then you've got.
Oh, look at this!
Look at this. He was obviously a man who went in for the old dove act.
Yes, a talented man doing classical magic there, and yes, look at that silver ball he's got on his.
I don't know what he's got there, but ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one, the only, Mr. Mike Thornton.
Yeah, Mike Thornton.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry, just catching up on my reading here. How are you?
We're wonderful, Mike. Thanks for watching. That's great.
Good to see you paying attention.
Oh, man, hold on just a second.
Oh, Mike.
Pantry's getting low, but it's non-toxic, so we don't have to worry about that. How are you?
So I'm gonna bring in some guests. Shall I bring in the guests?
Bring back our guests, Sarah,
so we can all be together. Oh, hold on, sorry, boys. Look at that. How's that?
Yeah.
Is that better? Look at that.
So, Mike, Mike,
I
meet
have
and you know us, and meet John, and everything
It's
else.
like a little family.
Yeah, we
isn't
can all
it?
reach across and shake hands.
No.
Fantastic. Mike is here to perform some magic for us. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll throw the floor to you, Mike, and we'll just say, take it away. How does that sound?
Well, that's great. I do have a big announcement, though. It's something I've been working on for a couple weeks, and I thought I'd share it with everybody here.
Exciting.
I signed a 2-year deal with Netflix, so it's a pretty good deal. So, $14.95 a month, I get Tiger King. I'm going to
You got me all excited for a moment.
That's rubbish. Truly rubbish.
Here, I got something for you. You want to see a trick?
Yes.
This is something seldom performed by magicians in my price range, so you know it's a classic here.
I think I should definitely zoom in on it.
Yeah.
A candle, an everyday, ordinary candle, and a babushka. How often do you see a babushka?
Not often.
Check it out. Cover up the candle with the babushka. I say the magic words, Ouija, Ouija. And just like this, you're not going to believe it. Oh.
Oh, woo!
Thank you. There's a lot of starch in that babushka.
There's something in there, I know that.
These are the jokes, folks. These are the jokes here. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of work these days, obviously, but one day we'll get back. My calendar is pretty empty, fairly empty anyway. What's going on at my house?
You mad.
I got something for you. Are you ready? Check it out. One of my favorites here. A bill. Now, on this side of the pond, Keith and Sarah, all bills in the United States have little threads in the paper, little tiny red and blue threads. If you were to look real close, you'd be able to see those threads here. Normally, I borrow this bill. In the meantime, I'm just going to put that bill right up here inside my pocket. I have a handkerchief right over here, a silk handkerchief, and that's what those little threads are made from. They're made from silk, like a silk handkerchief. Now watch this. I'm going to put a couple extra threads inside this bill sitting right over here. I'll show you how I do it. Watch, I just take that handkerchief, put it in just like so. Snap the fingers. And just like that. Gone. Watch this. That bill. Check it out. I take that bill, All I do is make a little tube, snap the fingers one more time, and when I do, that handkerchief reappears. Look at this. Right
Nice. Woo!
As the thunderous round of applause echoes.
Yay!
Any questions?
Yes. Can I have the 20?
Sure. I've had a lot of time on my hands here. Finally been able to take care of the nail, so when it does open up, we're going to be able to. At least my nails are going to look good. I'm trying to fill my time the best I can here with everything going on.
Mike, you are a real trooper. Thank you, Joe. Big round of applause for the marvelous Mr. Mike Thornton. Yes. Thank you so much. So, Mike, you're not doing many gigs at the moment?
Not many gigs. My company, the Talent Network and Wonders Shows, just lost about 150 senior all-night parties and after proms between now and the middle of June, and I don't see too many company picnics and events happening throughout the summer, so we're just going to...
I tell you what I'd like to do, Mike, if it's all right, I'd like to get you back on the show in a couple of weeks or time and talk about that, because there's going to be a lot of people who aren't having all-night parties and they're not having these company picnics, and we're going to need to find some ideas for them to do, and it's kind of entertainers like you and me have to come up with those ideas. So maybe we could have a bit of a brainstorm and then come back in a couple of weeks and talk about it on the show. How does that sound?
Absolutely. I'll be there.
Fantastic.
That's a lot of all-night parties. A lot of all-night parties.
Absolutely. Gone. Good news wrap up. Good thoughts.
Yes, good thoughts though.
Yes, we like to end the show with some positive thoughts. So,
who wants to go? I was going to say, John, do you want to go first? You got to go.
Sure.
A positive thought that you can share for us.
So my grandfather Athanasios Kotsis, he had a quote that he would tell my mother in times of strife and when things were hard, and it was, "This too will pass." And it might seem like the world is crumbling around us now, but it will pass and we will get through it and we'll end up stronger because of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you. And I think that is very true. There is a time when we will look back on this time and we'll probably tell stories about it.
Yes.
You know, like, oh, do you remember when we were locked in a house and weren't allowed out for 6 weeks? You know,
they'll say that, and they'll say
and our grandchildren will never believe us. They'll go, "You stayed in for 6 weeks," and we'll go, "Yes, we stayed in for 6 weeks."
Yes, we queued to get into supermarkets and lined up. Mike, what about you? A positive thought from you, Mike?
Well, similar to John, you know, I've always enjoyed Annie the musical, and Annie's always talking about tomorrow and the sun will come out tomorrow. Well, yesterday may have not been so good. Today may not be so bad with all that's going on, but there is always tomorrow, and we can have a fresh start tomorrow and we can make it a better day.
Yeah.
And let's please hope the sun does actually come out tomorrow. Because, I'm looking out the window here going, it's a rather grey, rainy day in Troy. And the sun would be nice. Thank you very much for that. And our final thought.
And the lovely Anne, tell us, what's your thought, your positive thought?
My positive thought for this whole thing is we have no control over our circumstances, but we have 100% control over how we respond to them. Yeah. So we want to respond as positively as we can.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Very true.
And our positive thought is just to smile more, because we think the happier you can feel on the outside, the happier you feel on the inside. And so that's my positive thought today, is to smile more generously.
So people, lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining us on tea. A cup of tea. A cup of tea.
For the folks who are watching, thank you so much for spending your time with us. Don't forget, we're here every Tuesday and Thursday. And if you've got a story, something about Michigan that you want to share, please get in touch with us.
Yes, let us know. You can get to our website. You can leave it on the message chat below. We do have to have a little shout out to your mother-in-law.
My mother-in-law, Muriel, are you there?
She's here. She made it.
Yeah.
She finally got in, and that's all I got on my mother-in-law. That's purely it. There she is. Here we go.
She was our first viewer, and she'll probably be our last.
All the way from Wales. Good job.
But we're an international program because of it. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, see ya.
Good night.